Hello and welcome. I'm running just a little bit late. I had everything going and then I didn't click the go live button. My bad. So I'm about 5 minutes late. I was sitting here talking to myself thinking that I was broadcasting and I wasn't. So let me start over from the beginning. Welcome to the live stream tonight. The plan is we are going to do a head to head comparison of uh, Redo Restore version 3.0 and Rescuezilla versus 2.0. These are both based upon an earlier project called Redo Backup and Recovery, which went dormant in 2012 and then was resurrected this year under the new name Redo Rescue. So, a couple of key differences. Redo Rescue is based on Debian, features an updated graphical interface for the actual backup and restore application. And Rescuezilla takes a little bit different path. It's based on Ubuntu. It continues with a pretty similar graphical interface to what was in the old Redo Backup and Recovery package. But version 2.0 of Rescuezilla, as you might guess by the name, will let you back up and restore to and from Clonezilla images. So, shout out to Chris Titus, who just did a video not too long ago on Clonezilla and concluded that it wasn't very user friendly. Here is the solution to that issue. And Rescuezilla is going to be able to restore from backups created with Clonezilla, as well as older versions of Rescuezilla and earlier versions of Redo Backup and Recovery. Now, I haven't tested to see whether or not Rescuezilla 2.0 can restore backups made with Redo Backup 3.0, but that will be a project for another day, and it might be something I look at on Sunday's live stream. So, let me share my screen and we'll get the party started. All right. So the old Redo Backup and Recovery application actually had a Wikipedia page. Talks about it going dormant in 2012, resumed in 2020. Updated GUI. If we look at the actual project page, version 3.0, and this was just released this week. UEFI support. Live system based on 64-bit Debian. Works with real and virtual machines, which was true before. Can restore old backups created with the 1.0 versions. Updated tools. Overwrite or preserve partition tables. This is interesting. It's got VNC server built in for remote help. Shows free space on destination drive. So bare metal recovery, selective restoring, free and open source, your typical screenshots, and it makes a big deal about it working with Windows Mac, and Linux. And I'm sure it would work with BSD and Solaris based systems, as long as it's an x86 type system, you're likely going to be able to back it up. Okay, looking at redo backup. Let's see. Looking at Rescuezilla. So, more features, less complex. Pretty basic set of things there. We want the features tab. No installation, easy to use, fully interoperable with Clonezilla. That's a big thing right there. Boots in seconds. Works with systems that are running Windows, Mac, or Linux because it's bypassing the installed operating system and it's booting off a USB or an optical disk of some variety. So the other thing is that in a future version of Rescuezilla, one of the features that's on the release plan for future releases is to be able to restore single files out of a backup. So that would be very useful. So let me clear a couple things out of my way. Okay, so just wanted to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. We are going to pick on my ENSO virtual machine. We're going to go to settings and storage. And so we've got Redo Rescue in here as the optical disk right now, virtual optical disk. So we're going to go ahead and do that one first. Okay, start. And this will just take a little while to get booted up. Okay, so in a virtual machine, at least on VirtualBox, it does not grab you a decent screen resolution. So we're going to come down here and we're going to go to monitor settings and we're going to change this to 1440 by 900 and apply that. Okay. Save. Okay. Okay, now we've got something we can actually work with. So we're going to say backup. And we're going to do this 30 gig SATA disk. And we're going to save both the partitions. And so this is one of the screens that's changed a little bit. Save it to this computer, which means the VM, not my physical machine. Network drive, NFS, SSH, or FTP. So that's kind of interesting, being able to do it over SSH even. So we're going to do network drive, and we're going to do that, and okay, now we're going to select a location, and this is Redo Rescue. And I've already been through this once tonight, so we are going to find ENSO Redo Rescue Test right here. Okay. That's where we want to save it. Next, we can even add notes. I believe this is a new addition to the GUI. And I'll say, and so VM test on YouTube. Say next. And then it starts the backup. And so this will take a few minutes and we will have a backup. So as you can see from this, the setup is pretty easy. Um, Even on a completely um, Windows based network, you could put an FTP server up fairly easy using Rescuezilla, or using FileZilla server, or using the built-in the FTP server built into Windows Server. Whatever your preference might be, but you can stand up an FTP server and run it long enough to do backups over FTP of Windows machines on your network. And then you turn off the server, of course, after you're done, because FTP is not secure and you don't want people on your network abusing it. But the nice thing is that you can set this up relatively quickly. Or if you have an external drive that is formatted in a Linux file system, you could hook that up to the computer, boot into Redo Rescue or Rescuezilla, and back up to that. That may actually go faster depending on whether you're using a spinning rust disk or whether you're using a solid state drive. But that's an option as well. If you're really a glutton for punishment and you have the space available in online storage, you could back this up directly to the cloud, either to an FTP server. Hopefully you'd use SFTP, or over SSH to something like rsync.net. And you could make that work, although backing up online is going to be slow unless you have a really great upload speed from your internet provider. So yeah, it's one of those things that it's always handy to have something like this in your toolbox. Now, I'm going to show you one other thing while we're waiting for that to finish doing its backup. And we're going to connect to my Windows box. And so that's not what I wanted to have happen. There we go. So Yumi is one of the tools I've been using on Windows for a few years now to make multi-boot thumb drives. Give me just a minute. Let me reinsert my thumb drive. Hold on. All right, no harm, no foul. So I've been using Yumi for a few years now. You cancel out of that. I should see my drive now. Good evening, David. So the thing I wanted to point out in Yumi is they do have a section down here on system tools, and currently they've got Rescuezilla and they've got Redo Backup and Recovery. So this is the name of the old tool. I'm not sure yet if this will let me use the new version of Redo Rescue, or if I'll have to rename the ISO image to make that work. But not a bad tool to have around if you're a Windows user, and you know, just makes it easy to make multi-boot thumb drives. So, and that actually came in handy today because I had the opportunity to go down to a new-ish community center that had some computers donated to them by another nonprofit, and wouldn't you know it, the people that made the donation could not remember the administrator password for these machines, Windows machines, and more troubling is that they've also got a BIOS password set, and I would have cracked the machines open, but they're all-in-one Lenovo machines, and they're kind of a pain to tear down, so I wasn't really prepared to do that today. But I did get them 4 machines. I think they had 6 total donated. I got 4 of the machines unlocked for them so that they could set their own administrator passwords. And so they were very pleased that I was able to do that. There was one machine that I tried 3 different methods to unlock, but that one did not want to cooperate. But we did get them 4 machines up and running, so they were still very happy. And I think their biggest challenge right now is they're going to want to space those machines out more than they have them, because there's certainly not 6 feet between them at the moment. So, but but you know, it was nice. It was nice having an opportunity to give a little bit back to the community, and use part of my skill set that I don't have an opportunity to use every day, because you know, going and resetting people's administrator passwords on a Windows machine, it would not exactly be ethical in a lot of situations. So, yes, David, I'm closing in on 1,800 subs. Thank you for noticing that. Um, I think I'm at 1796 when I looked earlier this afternoon. So by the time I spend my hour to record all my statistics on Sunday morning, I may very well be over 1,800. And, you know, unless there's a civil war and the power grids get taken out for some reason, I'm expecting I'll be at or above my goal of 2,000 by the end of the year. So that is rather exciting. And another, what? Today's the 16th, so 4 more days, and I'll get my little YouTube bonus money. So again, thanks to all the supporters out there who have made this possible. And I suppose I should thank the behemoth that is YouTube for making all this possible without me having to spend a boatload of money on a VPS and setting a whole new platform up to share videos. So that would get really expensive really fast and likely prohibit me from doing this, at least on the scale that I'm currently doing it. But let's see. Ooh, 43 subs in 5 days. That is impressive. I had that kind of growth a couple of times, but it's just kind of a yo-yo effect. I've noticed that, and I'm still having trouble finding the motivation to record and edit those pre-recorded videos. I think I've got 2 videos recorded that need to be edited. But I was so frustrated after doing an install of the Fedora 33 beta that I just had to walk away from it. Yes, YouTube is definitely making their share of the money. So, yeah. Oh, we're up to 3 people on the live stream. If you're out there watching, come keep David company in the chat. Don't be shy. He won't bite. I don't think. All right, we're closing in on the end of the backup with Redo Rescue. And then we'll get the backup started with Rescuezilla, and then I will jump over to VirtualBox and we will attempt to restore the backup we made with Redo Rescue onto a fresh VM and see how that turns out. So that's kind of the plan. If everything goes well, I should have everybody out of here by 10 or a little after. Creative comment there. um, I hope you're not implying that you have vampiric tendencies there, David, but don't make me go get my garlic out of the kitchen. Okay. Backup completed successfully in 15 minutes, 27 seconds. That took about 3 times as long as when I did this when I wasn't streaming. So obviously, are having a little bit of a network contention issue on the network interface. But let me go ahead and shut this down. Oops. Shutdown is in the bar at the bottom. And so we'll jump here to settings and storage. And we're going to change from redo rescue to Rescuezilla. And we'll restart our machine. So still very similar startup screen. Interestingly enough, both of these projects are asking for donations on Patreon. Um, so there's that. I think Rescuezilla is asking for $1 a month to help keep the development going. I'm not entirely sure what the redo rescue is asking for. Okay, let's go 1440 by 900. Okay, so that makes this a little bit more readable. So we're going to say backup. And it found our drive. Oops. Actually, I have to click on it, even though there's only one. Next, we're going to do this over the network. And again, this only at the moment gives you the option of an SMB or CIFS share. I do like that they moved the username and password around. In the previous version, I think they had the domain in between the username and password. It was kind of a funky layout. Let's see. Let's try that. Now it's happy. So that'll take a minute. Yeah, I've been thinking about devices for trick or treaters, but since I live above a funeral home, I don't normally have trick or treaters. But I was kind of thinking a slingshot from an upstairs bedroom window could be kind of fun. Probably more fun for me than the trick or treaters, but Okay, so we're going to use an existing folder that I created earlier. Okay. Next. We'll leave that alone. Next. And we're going to back up the 3 partitions. Next one more time, and it goes ahead and it starts the backup. So we'll see if this completes quicker than redo restore. While we're waiting for that, so let's do a new VM. We're going to call this enso underscore redo restore. This is Ubuntu based. Continue. And 30 gig drive. Settings. Give that 2 processor cores. And that was redo rescue. We want to use on that. And network bridged. Okay. And I'm actually going to wait to start this until this other process is finished. And where did it go? There we go. Okay. So I will say Rescuezilla so far seems to be moving much quicker than Redo Rescue did. And I have to wonder if that is possibly because they switched to using the Clonezilla backend. But that is going to require a little bit more digging and some thought and some testing. But it will be interesting to dig into these projects a little bit more as time goes on, and just kind of see which project sort of wins out as the dominant version. In an ideal world, I would love to see the developers join forces and instead of duplicating effort, but that just doesn't normally happen in the Linux world, and that's fine. But it would be nice to see them working together and pushing the projects forward faster than each duplicating effort. With one project being based on Debian and the other on Ubuntu, again, I'm not sure how likely that is going to be, but it would be nice to see that happen. So I do have to give them credit here. Instead of running ads in their software, they just put a nice little link in where you can go to Patreon and donate to the project. So I think that's a nice touch. It's not too in your face, and you know, it's ultimately going to help the project along if people donate. And I'm hoping that I will be able to do so after the new year. So that is one thing I am working towards, um, because Rescuezilla has definitely come in handy for me. Just a little bit leery of Redo Rescue because, you know, when a developer abandons a project for 8 years and then pops up out of the blue, I have to wonder a little bit how serious they are about the project and if they're going to disappear again. So, you know, certainly um, something to take into consideration. But at the current moment, I am leaning a little bit towards Rescuezilla, especially with the back end piece being um, built on the Clonezilla model. I find that an attractive solution, and yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how things move forward. That's one nice thing about the Linux and open source world is that things do change pretty rapidly, and you know, I have to give both the projects credit. Um, I think we have had two releases from Redo Rescue this year, and at least three from Rescuezilla. Um, Two of them being sort of just kind of code cleanup versions and minimal new features, and then this 2.0 version that added the Clonezilla pieces to the mix. So we'll see if they enter into sort of a TikTok type of development pattern, like Intel has in years past, where you know one release will be more bug fixes and UI improvements, and then the next version will be, you know, a little bit more major features and refining of the UI. So it'll be kind of interesting. A DIY war on YouTube, a gadget DIY war on YouTube. Who are you going to go to war with? That could be kind of interesting. All right. So all right. So this is not a terribly scientific test, but um, Rescuezilla took 8.67 blah 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 minutes while I'm live streaming to run the backup. Uh, Redo Rescue took over 15 minutes. So again, I've got to give a slight edge to Rescuezilla. I will rerun these tests and record some numbers when I'm not live streaming in the background as well, uh, and just kind of see where the numbers might show a pattern. But right now, I would say Rescuezilla has a bit of an edge on speed. So we're going to go ahead and do next. And we can quit that. And then we can shut it down. Yeah, that could be an interesting idea to help increase views. Okay, so we'll run through a restore, and I'll keep this going until 10 or just shortly after. And let's see, Rescuezilla 3.0, start. And we'll see if it goes a little bit faster on the restore process. All right, so right off the bat, let's see if we can't. Settings, monitor. That looks better. Okay, so we're going to do restore this time. And network. We're going to say go in here and Enso, redo rescue. Okay. Doesn't like that. There we go. And I see they have a .redo as their file extension. So I think that's new with this version. Next. Next. And we're going to restore all the partitions. There's image details down here. Not sure why it says CentOS 8, but okay, we'll run with it. Next. Yes, I'm sure. And it should start kicking things back now. Partition 2 of 2. 2.07 gigabytes per minute. Gigabytes per minute. Yes, we do need to plan the next collab session. I did finally get an email sent back to you tonight. I'd actually started it on Monday, and then my week got away from me mainly because of this little consulting gig I had to prep for today. So yeah, I did send you an email back earlier this evening with some topic ideas, and I know you've mentioned a few things in the live stream chats, but there were a couple of videos that I did not have the chat playback enabled, so I was unable to grab those ideas out, unfortunately. But I know you've suggested a few things along the way, and yes, I would like to do that at some point soon. Sounds great. Sounds great. All right. Well, the restore is going faster. Um, Likely because I'm restoring from spinning rust to a solid state drive. So that's a little bit less painful. So, um, it looks like we lost our other two people tonight. So, um, I may I may be doing a video here in the not too distant future, probably a pre-recorded video, and I'm going to go back through my comments from my videos that I made covering the fog server project, which is more of a server based imaging software. I'm not sure if you watch any of my videos on that, but um, I get just what seem like real random times. I get what are very basic questions on that software. Today I had a question come in about where the images were saved, um, and that's a pretty basic type of question, and it's pretty well documented. Um, and so there are times where I am just left wondering, you know, why are you asking this as a comment on a video rather than just putting the same query in Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever your search engine of choice might be? Um, and you know, I did happen to catch that one at only 2 hours after it was posted, but I'm guessing by the name that this young lady was Japanese, but don't hold me to that. Um, the name looked very Japanese, but uh, I'm not an expert on Japanese things or people, nor do I play one on television, so that's all I'll really say on that, I guess. But yeah, it is kind of funny. Uh, After about 3.5 years now of making videos, when I need to reference something, um, it's kind of funny when you type something in on YouTube and one of your own videos comes up as a reference. I'm not sure if you've had that um, situation happen to you yet, but um, that's happened to me a couple of times now. So I guess my SEO is working fairly well. If that's something that's starting to happen to me more, uh, either that or my mind is failing me. So I hope it's not that. All right. So we're at 6.5 minutes, and it's almost 86% done. Just under a minute left before this will be fully restored, and then we'll see if that virtual machine clone actually boots. and then I will wrap this up for the night. But it's just been one of those weird days. Very nice. Very nice. So not to foil plans for any of your future videos that you might have coming up, but did you snag anything from Amazon Prime Day this week? I happened to come across a review and recommendation for a very, very cheap XLR condenser microphone. I got a notification, and with the Prime Day discount, I got an XLR condenser microphone for $19.95. And I thought, well, even if it ends up being a throwaway, it'll make for a good unboxing video. And I really should have ordered another XLR cable, but yeah. Let's see. Well, it booted. So we're in luck with the restore from Redo Rescue. That worked just fine. And we've got a clone of the Enso machine that I created in a previous live stream. So not bad. Good call. Good call. Unfortunately, my the microphone. Let me double check the Amazon app, the all-knowing and ever-powerful Amazon app. Oh, bonus. These were actually not in stock when I ordered it. And now it's saying it will be delivered on Monday. So, Monday the 19th. The previous date that they had told me was the Wednesday the 22nd, or Thursday the 22nd, rather. But yeah, I'll take that, and that'll make for a good video when I get home from work. My sound seems a little low. Is it any better now? That's part of the reason I wanted to get a condenser mic, because right now I've got the gain turned all the way up on this dynamic mic. Now, granted, this was a cheap mic, but yeah, I've got the gain turned all the way up on my Behringer, and I'm getting just a little bit of clipping if I get too much closer to the mic. But yeah, I'm wanting to play with this cheapy condenser mic, and then in the new year, I'm planning on buying something a little more durable and permanent in a condenser mic type of situation. But with my car repairs that I just did, I was trying not to purchase anything or not much of anything during Prime Days. But I saw this for $20 or $19.95 with free shipping, um, and I thought I'm going to take a chance, and so we'll we'll see if it makes any difference on my sound, because that's one thing that I've been trying to gradually improve. This I started with a USB condenser mic, and then I switched to the microphone I'm currently using. It does USB and XLR. So I bought the microphone. It was only like a $60 microphone. Then I bought the audio interface, and so hooked it up with XLR. And then I want to get back to a studio type condenser mic. So, I thought, hey, I'll take a chance on a $20 mic. If nothing else, if I ever get into a situation where I can have a second person on a podcast type of recording, then I've got multiple mics to work with. But I'm hoping in 2021 to move into a condenser mic around the $200 range, which I've seen a few that have got pretty decent reviews in that price range. And, since I'm not doing voiceover work and other things of that nature, I can't really justify spending, more than a couple $100 on a condenser mic. But the other thing I want to experiment with is, since my dad's business is in the space below me, he's got a Shure brand wireless mic set that he actually ended up not being able to make work with his setup downstairs because of some of the construction of the building, the old part of the building downstairs. But that has a wireless dynamic mic, and it's also got the lapel style mic. So I'm kind of interested to bring that up here and play with that. I've just got to make sure I've got the right batteries to power the wireless mics. But the receiver box is XLR, so I can hook that up without an issue. It's just getting the correct batteries for the other mics. So yeah, I saw your video on the Zoom recorder. That looks interesting as well. So, but I think we've gone about an hour since I was 5 minutes late getting started. I've gone about an hour. I see we have a second viewer on. I'll stick around for another 5 or 10 minutes, I guess. Um, but yeah, this kind of wraps up what I had prepared and had really wanted to talk about in the live stream tonight. I may do some more testing with the two pieces of software, Redo Rescue and Rescuezilla tomorrow, and depending on what kind of testing I get to do and what kind of results I come up with, that may be part of my topic for the Sunday morning live stream. So I am not committing to doing one of these every Friday night, but this might become an occasional thing. It may also be one of those types of situations where once I get my Patreon set up the rest of the way, the Friday night streams may become a Patreon only or Patreon primary type of stream, and it might happen once or twice a month. So, not quite sure on that, but it's one of those things I'm considering because I want to try to start getting 2 videos out a week, whether they be whether one of them is pre-recorded or if they're both live streams. I guess I'm not terribly picky at the moment. I've got a few things on deck that are going to have to be pre-recorded, and I've got a couple of videos pre-recorded that are just needing to be edited down. So there is more content coming. It's just with the weather change and all this fun stuff, it's been a little bit difficult trying to find and keep my motivation and push myself to do these. But once the cold weather sort of stabilizes on being cold, I think I hope my push for this will return, and I'll start getting a few more videos out. The one trick that worked for me early in the summer was to, spend a whole afternoon on a weekend and record 5 or 6 videos back to back, and then I could, edit over the course of a few weeks and keep those videos coming out. But with also recording videos for my day job and doing video editing for my day job as one of the additional responsibilities I've taken on, it's made me less inclined to continue doing that into the evening hours quite as much as I was doing before. And that's part of the reason that I've kept pushing on live streams and just kind of go unscripted and let the conversation in the chat steer things a little bit and just kind of go from there. So one of these days, hopefully I'll have, a fairly decent crowd in the live stream, and we can get a little bit of consensus going on, what types of topics people would like to see in the future. And, let me have some good ideas to work from that both keep my interest and the interests of the community at large that consumes my videos. So, all right. Just taking a look through the chat here to see if there's anything else. Apparently, our other viewer is being shy tonight and doesn't want to introduce themselves in the chat. So it's now 11 minutes after 10 on Friday night. Can tell what kind of week I've had because I couldn't even remember what day it was. Oh, welcome. I appreciate the feedback. I'm glad the fog server videos were helpful to you. That's actually kind of where the channel really got its start. Was doing I think it was fog version 1.3.4, and I've just done one or two fog video series a year since then, depending on what kind of release cadence the project gets into. So I'm probably going to butcher your name. Balkarn, is it? Is that close? Where are you viewing me from tonight? If you don't mind saying. I'm always interested in how far these videos are reaching around the globe. So, so anybody tuning in late in the game, I'll throw up my handy dandy banner here. Excuse me. So there will be another live stream this weekend, Sunday morning in Eastern Time. Well, thank you, Balkarn. I hope I'm not pronouncing it too far off. Since I don't have you here on video to correct me, but thank you for the super chat. You are my very first super chat in all the time I've been doing the live streams for the last few months. So thank you for that. I very much appreciate it. And if my fog videos have helped you in some way, you are very welcome for that. Yep, looks like $5 Canadian. So, all right. Well, this is an exciting night. So, looked at a couple of backup and restore products. Similar types of things to Norton's Ghost. A little bit lighter weight and easier to use than fog, especially if you're only going to be backing up one or two machines. But yeah, they're both worth checking out, and tonight is also a milestone for me because it marks the first the first super chat I've received. So, uh, thank you for that. Um, and on that note, I am going to go ahead and sign out for the night. Um, and David, yes, I think India is um, 3 or 4 on my top country list. So, um, and it fluctuates a little bit. Um, I think it's the U.S., UK, Germany, and India are my top 4, and the U.S. has stayed at number 1, but the other 3, um, have kind of flip flop places. So, um, hey, I would love to get outside the U.S. for a little while if this crazy pandemic ever leaves us. Um, the only place out of the country I've ever been, and this is kind of sad to admit, but the only place outside of the U.S. I've ever been is Canada. And that was when I was in high school. We went to Toronto to to see a Shakespeare play, and we had time. I don't remember if it was before or after, but we had time to visit some of the little shops in Toronto, and they were rather interesting to me at the time. So, on that note, thank you to everybody who tuned in, and I will be back on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and I hope that some of you will join me then. Have a good night, everybody.